Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Awaken the World October Challenge. This is day 4 today, October 4th, and it is our evening meditation. This evening it is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and of course, we are so happy to see you. Really. We had began this morning with the first of the healing sound meditations, and that was to focus on our root chakra. And today this evening, we're going to use the same healing sound meditation, except we're going to move up to the sacral chakra. And hello, Cindy. Nice to see you tonight. And our sacral chakra, and let's just be clear one more time about chakras. If you think there's a glowing ball of light sitting inside of you, you're right and you're wrong. There is not a glowing ball like a chakra per se. It is simply what we give as the term for the general location that sort of vibrational frequency settles within the body energetic field. Yes, indeed, we are at the subatomic level, flashes of particles fluttering in and out of existence, a literal dance of creation. If the energy around that area of your being is nicely balanced in harmony, you have what I call feeling balanced. But you have to be clear about that. It's not that you feel balanced, although you do feel balanced, but what we're really talking is about those feelings. If your sacral energy is relatively in harmony with your being and has a nice vibration to it, your thoughts will not be leading you into negative feeling states so often. You will catch your thoughts. You will begin to understand that your thoughts are the sabotager. And you will, understand when your body is telling you, hey, you're not feeling very grounded right now. If that energy is doing fairly well, if it's in a good vibrational, healthy state, you will feel quite grounded. Your level of compassion and energy and zest for life will be quite high. If you are holding on to a lot in the past regarding what you would normally term emotional relationships, those relationships that, due to our thinking about them and our expectations and assumptions, have caused us in our minds considerable pain in some way. When we hold energy in that area, of course, we tend to become emotionally unavailable. Or, in the other case, we tend to attract people who will continue to cause that same sort of damage we perceive as happening to ourselves. Now, I had said this morning we're going to touch briefly on judgment and have a quick discussion about that, and I do. I just want to reaffirm with everyone, judgment is a tricky thing, and it belongs to the ego, and the best way to begin to get past it is, I'm always quite frank with Kelly. I never sugarcoat things. As a matter of fact, I don't do that with anybody. And the advantage of that is you're always going to get it straight. Sometimes it's going to maybe jab you a little bit, but you're always going to get it straight. And I had said to Kelly, you honestly don't have a lot of faith in what you would consider God to be. I notice that you're always thinking that you can somehow think your way out of it, that you can do better. The words let go, let God mean exactly that. It means let go. Quit holding on to it. Leave it in the hands of that sea of creation. Now, that is not a negative thing. It is important to understand where you're truly at and be willing to look at your own faith in creation and carefully examine your life. And just for today, in the next 24-hour period, I would like you to write down all the things you think that are negative in your existence that have ever happened to you. Take some time with yourself. Write them all down. And at the top of this page, I want you to put all the bad things that have happened to me. When you're done that, and please do this, it's worth it for you to see. It will help the process of changing your perceptions. Go up top and cross off the word bad and put the word good. And then go through those one at a time, and say to yourself, assuming, not even believing, but just assuming that sea of consciousness, my version of God, that creator of the all, truly does love me, and that I am truly worthy, and that my journey here is one of enfolded in love, in growth and evolution. What do each of these events mean to me now? Re-examine those events. Judgment is literally when we and there's a lot of judgment that's quite understandable. Okay, you go outside and it's 42 degrees out and you go, wow, it's hot. Now, that's really a statement of fact. That's well, not necessarily fact, because it may not be, hot to everybody, but in general, we can say that is simply an observation. It is when judgment gets attached to us. And when we say, when I'm speaking of this, I'm saying that, the person who murders a young child is a rotten, horrible person. Well, that's a judgment on them. The observation is they've murdered a child. The judgment is what a rotten, horrible person they are. Judgment personalizes what is into somehow a fault of someone's or some things. Now, this isn't always the case. A lot of time our judgments are positive. And there's nothing wrong with our positive judgments. And there's nothing wrong with our negative judgments on the surface of them. But what we have to be wary of is forgetting that it is simply a judgment based upon this moment right now when we're making the judgment. A lot of times the judgments we make in the moment, when we re-examine them after that moment is gone and we're in a new moment, we understand that our judgments didn't really make a lot of sense. They were motivated by things going on in our head at the time. Things like we would term the heat of the moment, right? When the pain body are the parts of ourselves that we kind of look at and go, why are you still here? End up coming up and causing all sorts of grief. Judgment is a product of the mind. Plain and simple. That doesn't mean your judgment has to be wrong or right or otherwise, but be wary and understand it is simply a judgment. In the way you make that judgment, you can at least use judgment and turn it into a positive, life-affirming, evolution-affirming use. In other words, when you see something that you are judging as negative, use that as an opportunity to catch yourself and to say, okay, what if I judge this the opposite? What if I judge this as good for me? How does that change? This is how we begin to get by judgment, is by understanding that it's just that, a product of the mind. And we're prone to changing our mind about that judgment depending on the event and how far from the event and all other sorts of circumstances. Letting go of judgment begins with understanding and having faith that indeed everything is as it should be right now. offering all the opportunity for growth and evolution and change, which is a natural part of life. This too shall pass. All things, no matter how we judge them, come and go. That is the reality of our physical universe. So this evening we are going to engage in the healing sound meditation. And I would invite you, if you want to take things a little bit deeper, that you can consider imagining yourself exhaling the color orange, breathing in the color orange, exhaling the color orange. And allow yourself to feel that when you breathe in, the breath reaches all the way down into your sacral or navel area. You know, a couple of fingers below the belly button is right around the area you want to be thinking about. Now, the mantra for this one is, of course, VAM, and allow the vibration to also travel down there. Consciously guide it down into that space. And you can take this even deeper yet by focusing your attention within that area and imagining a brilliant orange light growing in intensity, pulsing, spinning, just an amazing warmth to it, and a fullness and a sense of groundedness of being. So with that, let's begin. Find yourself a comfortable position, allowing yourself to sit upright, or it's okay to lay down if you need to, or recline. Just try and keep that natural curve of your spine. Keep those energy channels open. I really love imagining that golden thread reaching up into the heavens, supporting me, serving to exchange divine energy, allowing me to be a conduit in the flow of energy throughout life. And in our mind's eye, we meet on that meadow of light and love. The sun is just setting, and in a fitting display, nature herself has provided us with orange clouds. The fading light of the sun, a brilliant orange fading off into red in the distance. A stillness envelopes our sacred circle as we approach and take our well-worn cushions. I am honored and grateful to be with you all today here at this gateless gate. And we begin. I want you to imagine yourself standing at the edge of a magnificent forest. You stand at the center of a tiny meadow at the edge of this vast forest. The trees are inviting. The forest teems with life. The sounds of birds and animals, the impression of creatures frolicking under the branches, and inviting home a precious gift. Standing there gazing at the magnificent forest, we find we are taking root at the center of that small meadow. With surprise and delight, we feel our consciousness reaching down into the earth, spreading like roots of a tree. The feeling is warm, inviting, like coming home to a loved one after a long stay away. Energy begins to pulse up from the ground. Fading from red into brilliant orange as it fills and reaches into your sacral chakra area. Bathing your navel in divine, healing orange light. I am grounded. I am supported and held by the roots of my being extending deep within the earth, nourished and fed by the planet itself. Rooted in the loving embrace of Mother Gaia, a tiny mustard seed of faith begins to glow within our navel area. This deep, intensely orange dot of light slowly begins to swell and grow. The love of the divine floods your being. You are grounded in love. Your wounds only teach you. Allow yourself to see the perfection of your existence, bringing you right here, right now, at this level of consciousness. Surrender yourself to the divine light within. Allow your entire being to bathe in that beautiful orange warm light. Accept the oneness of all things. You are never alone, never separate, and never have to be afraid again. From this day forward, your newfound growing faith that your journey here is divinely inspired, divinely guided, that you are safe and rooted in the earth itself. In this state, from this day forward, you will hear your inner voice, your intuition, speak more clearly than ever before. You will remain aware, ears keen to pick up this voice. In the silence, in the gentle straining to hear that whisper, in your deepest and darkest moments, it will be there to guide you, to support you, and most importantly, to make you aware that you are the light in the darkness. Allow yourself to take a deep, conscious breath and exhale with a sigh of love, a sigh of love for that creative being, that creative essence, that sea of consciousness through which we experience the wondrousness of life. When you are ready, Allow your eyes to open. You know, I have meditated for, I guess going on 26, 27 years now, and meditation for me is a constant reminder that all of the power, all of the existence we have here is inherent and sitting right at our fingertips. It is never outside of ourselves. That is the power of the illusion of power, the illusion of control. Allow yourself, as I said, over the next day, to just consider, what if you were truly, truly loved by this universe? What if you planned your journey here? Look at all those things you would label as bad and allow yourself to use the power of the word and the power of judgment to re-perceive, to recreate your thinking and perceptions on your existence. This alone, this realization of the wondrousness, the sheer number of events that have to coincide so perfectly for you to appear in this universe and for you to be helped when you need it, and certain people coming and going to teach you and help you grow. It is magnificent. The dance doesn't even come close. Allow this realization of love to sit within your being tonight. For me, it almost overpowers me. The vibrations are still roaring through my body right now. I wish you to feel this at the briefest conscious thought of your desire. And it will. Everybody will wake up. The fact that you are even looking in this direction in this life speaks so much of the progress you have made through many lives. And be at peace. You can never devolve. You can only grow in your conscious awareness as you move from this life into the next. Much love. Namaste. Good night to you all. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I have managed to load some to YouTube already, so I'm getting on board with it. Again, much love and have a wonderful night. Namaste.